Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth Podcast. I'm Jack Smith.
I'm Shrikar Rajendran.
And I'm Anish Gupta.
In today's episode, I want to go through two quarterbacks, two that are very good in the National Football League. Anish, I know you're very confident about one of them. Carson Wentz and Deshaun Watson. Who would you rather have?
So I'm going first, yes. All right. I'm going to take – so, look, we had this whole AFC South rankings, and people think I'm a Watson hater. I'm not a Deshaun Watson hater. I think when I said that Tannehill could be the best quarterback in that division, what I meant was, right, if he has the best, like if he, for that year, if he wins the division and has better passing stats, which he actually did last year, if he repeats that, has a better QBR, better completion percentage, right, better passer rating, this and that, and he wins the division, I would look at it as Tannehill having the best season in anyone in the division. That being said, though, I have Deshaun Watson ranked as my sixth best quarterback. You could even put him 5 over Aaron Rodgers, but I would take Rodgers right now, but I even have him over Wentz. I got to stop saying that being said. But, however, I would take Olwakatuam Wentz over Deshaun Watson. Don't get me wrong. Deshaun Watson is a great player. He is amazing at what he does. He has found ways to make plays with his feet, with his arm. He has done so many things in his short amount of time in the NFL. But Carson Wentz has had times where he was regarded as a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. In 2017, I can definitively say he was regarded as a top 3 quarterback that particular year. I think we can all agree on that. He's done so much for this Philly franchise in the last few years. A team that really was up and down ever since Donovan McNabb left. Really, what were they really regarded as in terms of the NFC East? They were really kind of the bottom feeders. I know it was always up and down, but even the Redskins had more success than them at times. Olwakatuam Wentz comes in and they win a Super Bowl his second year, I think. Obviously, I think we've all agreed that he would have won the Super Bowl had he not been hurt. And just going into next year, right, let's look last season. He had better passing stats with damn near nobody, okay? Like, he didn't have anyone to throw to. I'm sorry, Zach Ertz was in and out of the lineup. I agree. His tight end group is very good. But Alshon Jeffrey injured. Deshaun Jackson injured since week 2. Nelson Aguilar cannot catch for anything. Literally choked a game against the Falcons. He was throwing to guys like Greg Ward, who, don't get me wrong, he made some good plays against the Redskins, but are you really trusting Greg Ward to be your number 1 receiver? No. He's done so much. He's worked his own Wentz magic in his own way. And for next year, I would rather have Olwakatuam Wentz because, one, I get the arm talent. I think he has better arm talent than Deshaun Watson. I know he's not as mobile. I will give you that. Deshaun Watson's mobility I think it's top 5 in the league. But I get a true leader. I think he's got the intangibles just like Deshaun Watson. And if I'm taking a quarterback, I'm taking a guy that has shown he can do more with less. Because once you give him more, there's no looking back.
Okay. Yeah, you make a good argument for Wentz. I think my thing is I'm just scared about durability. That's just one thing I'm scared about.
And see, I knew people were going to
Durability is the best ability.
But guess what?
I'm saying that.
Deshaun Watson tore his ACL. He tore his ACL his rookie year. People are just forgetting that, right? Both of them have torn their ACL, okay? Carson Wentz did have the back injury, I believe, the year after. But keep in mind, did that affect him last year? No. He had a concussion this year. I'm pretty positive that's not going to affect him going into next season. Let's not act like Deshaun Watson is perfectly durable. People had the same questions for Deshaun Watson as they did for Carson Wentz coming off that ACL.
But he is more durable than Wentz.
He is. I agree with that.
I will agree with that, but not to the extent that people are saying. Not like Dak Prescott durability.
Still,
Patrick Mahomes
he's more durable, and that's that. He's more durable. So I can bring that up.
No. Okay, but more durable doesn't mean that Deshaun Watson cannot get hurt. We've seen him get hurt before. And it's a major injury.
Of course, but you could say that for any quarterback. You can't get hurt. You can't get hurt.
No, I know, but you got to give an award, a durability award to some quarterback. Like Dak Prescott gets my durability award. 4 years, he has not missed a game. Eli Manning gets my durability award for his career, for example, right? Brett Favre as well. You could even point to Patrick Mahomes, who's been durable these last 2 years. So
he was injured this year.
Huh? Yeah, but that was a nifty like ankle injury. I mean, I'm not gonna count that as a
But
torn
that's
ACL.
still an injury.
Okay,
He's
is that a
played 2
torn
seasons. He missed,
ACL?
what, 5 games?
No, he missed 2, and it's
He
not
missed 2 games?
yeah, he only missed 2. So check your facts, big guy. But back
Hey,
to my point.
my bad.
I'm talking major injuries. Achilles is a major injury. ACL is a major injury. Sports hernia is a major injury. I look at it as this. I think the durability factor is a very solid question for Carson Wentz. I think it is the only knock you can remotely come close to throwing at him. It's his durability. But when he's healthy, right, he's a top 5 talent in this league. I think we can all agree there. When healthy, he is a top 5 talent. And Jack, I know how much talent weighs in for your factor when you look at NFL players. For me, it does too, especially with the quarterback position. But again, I need production to back it up. Wentz has the production to back it up. Threw for 4,000 yards, not a lot of. I think it was 8 picks off the top of my head. I can't remember, but he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. And he's a very solid quarterback. He throws a lot of touchdown passes. There's really no fault to his game. I don't see – I can't even name – I think he can be a bit risky in the pocket. But, I mean, there really isn't anything I have to say about his game. And that being said, with Deshaun Watson, I don't really see much fault in him. I think he can be a little bit loose with the football at times, but, I mean, there's nothing to knock on. Like I said, these are 2 very good quarterbacks. But if I'm starting a team next year and I want a quarterback who's shown me he can do more with more and more with less, I'm taking Carson Wentz.
Do you think Watson would have looked better with Wentz's O-line? Because I think so.
Okay,
do you think he would have looked better with Doug Peterson?
Do I think Wentz would have looked better with DeAndre Hopkins, Kenny Stills, Will Fuller? Yes, I think so.
I think Watson would have looked better with Wentz's O-line than Wentz would look with
Wentz's O-line was hurt last year. Jason Peters in and out of the lineup. Brandon Brooks in and out of the lineup. Lane Johnson in and out of the lineup. His O-line was hurt last year. So you can give me this O-line argument, but I can also give you the same thing back. He didn't have a consistent O-line last year either. Yeah. And let me harp on that too. If I give Carson Wentz DeAndre Hopkins for a full season, if I give him Will Fuller a very good deep
Will
threat,
Fuller never.
If you put Wentz behind the Texans O-line,
Will Fuller for 8 to 9 games, or Deshaun Jackson for 2 games?
But here, listen to this. Here, okay, because you're saying that Wentz's O-line was in and out of the lineup all year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So was Will Fuller, and Will Fuller has done this his entire career. He's
okay, but Deshaun Jackson was out 14 hours.
I'm comparing him to what you said about the O-line. I'm just saying, if you're gonna say that, same argument can be made for Will Fuller.
But he didn't have any receivers. Like they were not even in and out. They were just out of the lineup. Like I agree. I agree. Funny because when Wentz had Deshaun Jackson, right, for a full game when he had Deshaun Jackson, that was week 1, 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Imagine Will Fuller. Will Fuller is basically a younger version of Deshaun Jackson. I think we can all agree on that. He's got the same electrifying speed. Just imagine Wentz with Will Fuller. I'm sorry, that is a very deadly combo. I don't care if it's for 8 or 9 games. And just imagine him with DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sorry, that is lethal, bro. That is just scary. I mean, Eagles would be a Super Bowl contender right there if you give him DeAndre Hopkins. Not to mention Kenny Stills is your slot receiver over Nelson Aguilar, who cannot catch the coronavirus even if he tried. I'm sorry, but if you give Wakatu Wentz, Deshaun Watson's weapons, it's over. You could give me the argument about the O-line, but Wentz has shown, even without the O-line, he can beat the Redskins or he can beat the Cowboys. Being down in the second quarter, he came back, won that game, never looked back. 17-9 victory for the division. Had to win 4 straight games, mind you, right? 4 straight games for the division. They were 5-7 at one point after losing to the Dolphins, who, you guys know I like. But 5-7, they had to win all 4 games to win the division. That 4-game run. So that's where I was sold on Carson Wentz. That 4-game run, because remember when he went 5-6 the year before? I think it was 5-6 or 5-7. Foles comes in and does the exact same thing. Well, Wentz just did it last year, and Trigger, you made the argument about the O-line. I told you, Brooks out of the lineup. Now he doesn't even have Brandon Brooks next year. I believe it was an Achilles or an ACL. I can't remember. You guys probably
would you say it's worse than the Texans?
When it was out of the line, I wouldn't. It's close because he has a star left tackle. Let's not forget, and he has his blind spot covered.
Yeah, he did.
He has his blind spot covered. Wentz, Jason Peters is now gone, right? And last year he didn't have his blind spot protected. Watson always has. Larry Tunsil has been there the majority of his career.
And he was here for this 1 year. He was here for this 1 year.
Yeah. No, I know. But
that's not the majority of his career.
Like I said, he's made it work without his blind spot.
That ain't the majority of his
And when
year,
Watson didn't have his blind spot, he was frail and he got injured. Like when Watson didn't have he was running for his life, and he has been doing that, but we've seen Russell Wilson make it work. And also I'm sorry, like this, I will get one last thing I'll make about the whole Wentz Watson argument. I put the 24-0 blown lead on Deshaun Watson. I will give some blame to Bill O'Brien, right? I will give some credit to Mahomes coming back. But if you're up 24-0 on the Kansas City Chiefs on the road, your job is to finish that game. If you're Deshaun Watson, your job is to finish it and make sure you can't look back. We've seen quarterbacks like Ryan Tannehill get a lead, not look back, right? Weird example. It was a bad example, knowing how people are with me and Tannehill. But, okay, if you get a lead, when Wentz gets leads, he doesn't blow them. I cannot name you a time where Carson Wentz has blown a lead or even choked in a game, okay? That 24-0 deficit where he lost, because, mind you, you guys know I picked the Texans, and I was feeling really good, and it just crumbled apart in less than a quarter. You, as a star quarterback, you can't do that. That is the one thing I will knock on Deshaun Watson, and I think it's a fair criticism. What will I be getting from Deshaun Watson the next time he's in the playoffs? Because now there's no DeAndre Hopkins. He doesn't have the star receiver like Carson Wentz has never had. So I think it's a fair question, and that is why I'm going with Carson Wentz. It's a very, very close, but I'm taking Carson Wentz.
It's extremely close.
Yeah, when I was looking at him, I couldn't make a decision because every argument you make for one, there's a reverse for another. Like, yes, Deshaun Watson has had a much worse offensive line, I think, over his career than Carson Wentz has. But then again, Carson Wentz hasn't had the weapons. But the thing that I go to is I think that Deshaun Watson, over his entire career, has been more clutch game to game than Carson Wentz has. And the thing that propelled Watson over Wentz for me just by a small margin was his legs. Because you cannot deny the production that Deshaun Watson has on the ground. And I just think that level of his game just put him over Wentz for me.
The clutch factor,
it's tough because I haven't drives with, like, I think in 19 or 18 less games off the top of my head that I can't remember. He's got more comeback and game-winning drives.
Okay. I will give you the clutch factor to a certain, because he's always been clutch. Even in college, high school, he's always been clutch. I will give you the clutch factor. But again, if you're up 24-0, right?
But that's the thing. Like, I think that's what you like to do that a lot, where you single in on one game. That's just. That's
a divisional round game.
He was on. At least he was on the field the entire.
Never made it past the divisional round. This was their chance. This is the best chance they were going to get.
At least he was on the field the entire.
Watson's on the field. Watson has a playoff win.
No, I know that. No, I know that. Carson Wentz has not had a playoff win. That is like you guys said. You guys give him the ring. I don't. Keep in mind, I don't give him the ring. I will not give him that.
We don't give it the ring either.
But look, up 24-0. I'm sorry, but you have to win that game. That is your best. Listen, the Texans have never made it past the divisional round. I think they're 0-3. I think they've made it 3 times and lost all 3. Deshaun Watson comes in. You draft a franchise quarterback. Your job as a guy is to lift the franchise. Cam Newton, for example, has done it, right? Electrifying guy, same kind of thing. Did what he did at Auburn. He comes in, he lifts them over the top, right? If I'm Deshaun Watson, if I'm a Texans fan, I expect him to win that game and finally get this franchise to a conference championship, finally get them over the hump. We've seen so many quarterbacks do that. So many, quarterbacks that we look at and say, that's a top 5 quarterback. That's a Hall of Fame resume. Now, I'm not saying Deshaun Watson has no chance for the Hall of Fame or whatever. I think he'll eventually get to a Super Bowl. I think maybe with the right system he could get there. But that game, I think you when I focus in on games, Jack, I focus in on the games to me that matter, the games that can define a player's career, right? When I talk about Eli Manning, I will only mention the 2 Super Bowls because they have so much weight on how he did as a player.
And when you look at the games that mean a lot for Carson Wentz's career, he wasn't on the field. Like, if you're a Texans fan, you expect Deshaun Watson to win the game. If I'm an Eagles fan,
I expect
Carson Wentz to actually play the wild card game all the way through.
That's fair. And that's a fair. Again, there are 2. Actually, this falls under one critic, durability. That's a very fair criticism. But I'm saying if I have a team and I want my quarterback to, one, take me to the playoffs, and two, get me past the divisional round, I'm taking Wentz because if I can get a healthy Carson Wentz, and I know it's a solid if. I know it is. But if I give Wentz the weapons Deshaun Watson has, if I give Wentz just a chance to play in that game, I'm trusting him more.
I mean, it's interesting. I think this is the most interesting of the guys that we're gonna have this whole time because it's.
I think this is close. I think this is as close as you get with terms of.
I think every game we'll see through the season, we'll flip flop them throughout the entire season. And
but it's
a coin flip.
Just to finish it off, I actually do have Deshaun Watson ranked above Carson Wentz right now because he has that playoff win. But I'm saying this or that, I still roll with the guy who's more talented and the guy I trust more, which is walk it to him.
I actually want to hear what you guys think down in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, please let us know who you'd pick, especially for this one, because I'm really interested to see what the people think. And then also go to our Instagram. We'll post something about this and let us know what you think, because this is one of the most interesting debates.
It's not talked about a lot either.
No, it's not.
They don't get a lot of comparison. You compare Wentz to Dak, which I think is a very just bogus comparison, disrespectful. But sorry, I mean, you compare Deshaun Watson to like guys like Patrick Mahomes, which also I think is disrespectful. I think this is a very good comparison between two very solid guys, and I think it's not talked about enough, guys.
And their production is like this close.
It's so similar. Yeah, it's like it's basically a coin flip for me.
Yeah.
You can go either way.
My coin just landed on Watson, but Wentz could easily overtake him, I think. And same
which
with
I think he will. I think he will.
So both these quarterbacks are very close, and like we said, it's a flip of a coin. Obviously, it can go either way, and I think it'll change.
Not talked about enough.
Yeah, I think it'll change a lot throughout the entire season. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode, and we will see you next time. If you liked what you were listening to, please rate us 5 stars if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or subscribe and leave us a like if you're on YouTube, and let us know who you think will be better, Carson Wentz or Deshaun Watson. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.